In a small, forgotten town nestled between thick woods and rolling hills, there stood an ancient Victorian mansion with an eerie reputation. Locals whispered tales of mysterious deaths and strange occurrences within its walls. The mansion had long been abandoned, deemed too haunted for anyone to inhabit. However, the stories that circulated were not of the mansion itself, but rather of a peculiar doll that resided within its crumbling halls. The doll, known as Matilda, had a haunting beauty that belied the malevolence lurking within. With porcelain skin and glassy blue eyes, she seemed innocent enough at first glance. Her curly auburn hair cascaded in delicate waves around her tiny shoulders, and her pristine white dress exuded an otherworldly charm. But those who gazed into her eyes for too long sensed a darkness that sent shivers down their spines. Legend had it that Matilda was crafted by a reclusive doll maker named Eliza Hartfield, who had lived in the mansion decades ago. Eliza was said to have possessed an uncanny ability to infuse her creations with a sinister life force, and Matilda was the culmination of her darkest desires. As the tale goes, Eliza became consumed by an insatiable need for vengeance after a tragic incident that claimed the lives of her family. Blinded by grief and driven by a malevolent force, she channeled her anguish into Matilda, casting a curse upon the doll that would take the lives of those who crossed her path. The first victim was the mansion's caretaker, old Mr. Thompson. One stormy night, the townsfolk heard blood-curdling screams emanating from the mansion. When they dared to investigate, they found Mr. Thompson's lifeless body sprawled at the foot of the grand staircase, his face frozen in terror. Matilda sat on the steps, her glassy eyes seemingly alight with a malevolent spark. Whispers of the haunted doll spread through the town like wildfire, but the mansion remained untouched, its ominous presence casting a shadow over the community. Fearful locals avoided the area, and the mansion became a forbidden relic, its secrets buried beneath layers of dust and cobwebs. Years passed, and the legend of Matilda faded into the background of the town's folklore. But one fateful day, a curious journalist named Emma Reynolds arrived in search of a compelling story. Intrigued by the haunted mansion, she embarked on a journey to unravel its mysteries. As Emma stepped through the creaking front door, the air inside felt heavy with the weight of the past. Dust particles danced in the dim light, and the echo of long-forgotten whispers seemed to reverberate through the halls. Armed with determination and skepticism, Emma navigated the dilapidated rooms, her camera capturing the eerie beauty that clung to the mansion's decay. It wasn't long before Emma stumbled upon Matilda sitting in a forgotten corner of the attic. The doll's eyes seemed to follow her every move, and a chill ran down Emma's spine. Unfazed by the superstition, she reached out to pick up Matilda, intrigued by the doll's storied past. Little did Emma know that she had awakened the dormant malevolence within Matilda. As she delved deeper into the mansion's history, the doll's influence grew stronger. Strange occurrences plagued Emma. Objects moved on their own. Chilling whispers echoed through the halls, and shadows seemed to dance in the corners of her vision. The townsfolk, aware of Emma's presence, began to fear the worst. They pleaded with her to leave, warning of the curse that clung to the mansion. But Emma, driven by journalistic fervor, dismissed their concerns as mere superstition. Late one night, as Emma delved into her research in the mansion's library, she felt an icy breeze sweep through the room. The temperature dropped, and the flickering candlelight cast eerie shadows on the walls. Matilda, perched on a dusty shelf, seemed to emanate a malevolent energy. Suddenly the room plunged into darkness, and Emma heard the soft, haunting laughter of a child. Panic set in as she fumbled for her flashlight, illuminating Matilda's sinister grin. The doll's glassy eyes gleamed with an unholy light as she levitated off the shelf, suspended in the air. Terrified, Emma stumbled backward, but an unseen force held her in place. Matilda's laughter grew louder, echoing through the mansion like a demonic symphony. Emma's breath quickened as the malevolent energy intensified, suffocating her senses. In a flash, Matilda lunged at Emma, her tiny porcelain hands wrapping around the journalist's throat. Emma gasped for air. her struggles futile against the supernatural force. The room seemed to close in around her as Matilda's grip tightened, draining the life force from her. Dawn broke. The townsfolk gathered outside the mansion, drawn by an otherworldly energy that permeated the air. The once abandoned mansion now seemed to pulse with an unholy life. The locals exchanged worried glances, their fear validated by the chilling silence that enveloped the haunted halls. Inside, Matilda returned to her corner in the attic, her glassy eyes once again void of emotion. The legend of the haunted doll lived on, a cautionary tale whispered through generations. The mansion, now more cursed than ever, stood as a solemn reminder that some secrets were better left buried in the shadows of the past.